What's going on, everybody? This is Andre here, filling in for Kevin, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G to help you make the most of the camera features. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to change your aspect ratio. Now by default, like pretty much any smartphone, the camera's aspect ratio is going to be 3:4 or 4:3 if you're in landscape mode. But we do have a couple other options here. So to change your aspect ratio, go up to this icon where it says 3:4, tap here, and as you can see, we can choose between 3:4, 9:16, 1:1, full, which in the case of this phone will be 19.5:9. And then finally, there's also 3:4 at 50 megapixels. Now, keep in mind with this phone, when you're in normal photo mode, despite having a 50 megapixel main camera, normally you're not actually going to be taking 50 megapixel photos. But if you want, you can change to 3:4 at 50 megapixels. And with this, you can use the camera's full power. And this is going to help you take a photo in really good detail. So as you can see, really high quality here. But also keep in mind with this mode, despite having a really high quality photo, the file is going to be a bit larger. So if you are more concerned about space, definitely keep this in mind. But honestly, in my opinion, this phone has 128 gigabytes of internal storage and micro SD card expansion too. So it's really not going to make such a huge difference that it's going to fill up all your space or anything. Because after all, the photos are really only like no more than 20 megabytes. So if you do want to use this mode a lot, then I would say go for it, but if you are a bit more conscious about space, keep in mind again, 50 megapixel photos do take up quite a bit more. The next thing I'm going to show you is a quick way to actually get to your camera. Now keep in mind this feature is active by default, so you don't have to do anything to enable it, but essentially, no matter what you're doing on your phone, to open your camera, all you have to do is double press the power key, so like this. And it opens right up, so definitely nice and convenient. Let's try that one more time. So there we go. And a really cool thing about this feature is it actually even works when your phone is locked. So let's try that. And there we go. And don't worry, this is not a way to bypass your lock screen, because as you can see, if I try to do anything else, it will have me actually unlock the phone first. Now I'm going to show you how to use the ultra-wide camera. Now this is a real easy feature. So right now, as you can see, we are in the main camera mode right now. And to get to the ultra-wide camera, all you have to do is hit the 0.5 right here. And there we go. So as you can see, we can fit a lot more in the frame. And of course, to go back to normal, hit the 1 right here. And it's right back. In addition to this, if you want to zoom into something quickly, you can also hit the 2 right here. So definitely nice and convenient. Now on the complete opposite end, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to use the macro camera. Now unfortunately there's no special shortcut for this, but it still is real easy to get to. So to use the macro camera, from the main camera screen, go to more. And macro is going to be right here, tap on the icon. And we are now in macro mode, so we can get nice close-up detailed images. So definitely a nice feature to have. And then keep in mind when you're done with it, be sure to go back to regular mode because of course, if you try to take normal photos in macro mode, things are just going to be blurry, so you don't want to do that. But while we're in the more tab, I want to go over some of the other camera modes we have. So we got pro mode, pro video, single take, night mode, food mode, panorama. Again, there's macro mode, super slow-mo, regular slow motion, and hyperlapse. So definitely quite a few options here. And keep in mind, if you find yourself using one of them a lot, like for example, maybe you take lots of macro photos, you can actually move this down to the bottom bar right here. To do this, all you have to do is hit the plus icon. Then from here, press and hold, drag it down to the bottom. And that's pretty much it. When you're done, hit save. And now as you can see, macro mode is now here in the bottom. So definitely nice and convenient. And then to put it back to where it was, press and hold, drag it back up here, and that's it. And keep in mind you can do this with any other mode besides regular photo and video of course, but definitely nice to have some flexibility here. Now we're going to go over a couple different things you can do with the volume keys. Now by default, if you press either volume key, so volume up, volume down, as you can see, it's basically like a couple physical shutter buttons, so definitely nice to have. But in addition to this, if we go to settings, then from here, go to shooting methods. So right here, and go to where it says press volume keys too. So as you can see, by default, again, it will basically be like a physical shutter button, so take picture or record video. And then you can also zoom in or out or control the system volume. So for this, let's do zoom in or out. Now go back to the camera. And now volume up is going to zoom in. And volume down zooms out. And as you can see, it goes all the way to the ultrawide camera, so definitely cool. Now I'm going to show you how to take a burst photo. Now in case you don't know what this is, it's basically a bunch of photos taken at once. And with this phone you can take up to 30. So to do this, all you have to do is swipe the shutter button down like this, and then hold it down. And again, it does go up to 30. So there we go. And now in photos, as you can see, all the pictures are right here. And now, in addition to this, you can also use the same function to create a GIF. So to do this, go to Settings. Then from here, go to where it says Swipe Shutter Button. And as you can see, again, by default, it will be burst shot, but you can also have it create a GIF. So if we go back, do the same thing, swipe down. There we go. And now, as you can see, there it is. Now another thing kind of related to this I did want to point out is if you're trying to take a picture of something in motion, while you can, I guess, technically use a burst shot, an easier way is using what's called a motion photo. So the motion photo is basically specifically meant for this. It's also known as a live photo. And all you have to do is enable it right here. So this icon. And once it looks like this, when you take a picture, it's basically going to be a bit in motion. So if we go back to the photos now, as you can see, it says View Motion Photo. And there we go. So if you're taking a picture of something like a car moving, somebody running, a bird flying, whatever, this is definitely a nice option to have. Now I'm going to show you how to take high efficiency photos and videos. So essentially what this is going to do is change the file type. And these files are going to be a bit smaller, but the photo quality is also going to be the same. So if you're taking really a lot of photos and videos, this is definitely a nice thing to have, but also keep in mind, this doesn't really happen a whole lot, but there can be some compatibility issues. So if you're doing something like, I know some certain websites require you to upload either a JPEG or a PNG or something like that, then if you are in that kind of situation where you really need a specific file type, you might not want to use this. But aside from that, I've found that if you're using like a photo or video editor or really any kind of social media platform, for example, it does still work perfectly fine and it will save you quite a bit of space. So to enable this, what you're going to do is go to Settings. Then from here, there are two different places to go. For pictures, turn on high efficiency pictures. This is going to change your photos to HEIFs. And then from here, go to videos and then turn on high efficiency videos. And with this on, instead of MP4s, your videos are going to be recorded as HEVCs. So again, when it comes to quality and honestly even the compatibility, it doesn't really make a huge difference, but again, if you do need to upload a really specific file type, keep in mind you can technically convert it with an editor or something. But if you know you're going to have to like upload an MP4 or a JPG or something like that, you might want to leave these off. But if you do take a lot of photos and videos and you really want to save space, then this definitely is a nice option to have. Now I'm going to show you how to use the grid lines. To turn this on, all you have to do is go to Settings. Then from here, find Grid. So it's going to be right here. Toggle it on. And now if you go back to the camera, the grid is on. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is a feature called the floating shutter button. So essentially, this is going to make a second shutter button on the screen. And this is going to allow you to take a picture at a more awkward angle. So for example, if you're taking a picture like this, maybe it's like a selfie or something like that, you can put the shutter right here. So it's going to be a lot easier than doing this. So definitely a cool feature. To get to this, go to Settings. Then from here, go to Shooting Methods. So right here. And then from here, toggle on floating shutter button. Go back to the camera. And as you can see, there is a second shutter and you can drag it pretty much anywhere. So again, like right here, definitely nice. But this concludes my camera tips and tricks video for the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G. Now, if you want to learn more about this phone, definitely check out the other videos about it on the channel because there are quite a few. And in addition to this, definitely check out the link in the video description for the latest info on pricing and availability because this information does change from time to time. But again, this was Andre here filling in for Kevin. These were camera tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G, and I will see you in the next video.